I've seen a lot of people come and go within this comic book community that people would like to call it. And I see a lot of people just shitting on one of the best things that has ever happened in the comics in quite a long time. In fact, two things that have happened to comics in quite a long time. The first being the Dollar Tree DC Comics initiative, where they're selling now 38 different titles for $1.25 at your local Dollar Tree, all polybagged and nice to go for you. Go pick them up. And the other sort of problem that I've been hearing is someone called Journo Comics. Journo, I don't know who you are, but I can already tell you're not someone I'm going to jive with just based on the sheer stupid things. That's right. I don't hold punches. Okay. I'm going to call you Urinal Comics. Okay. So the stupid things that Urinal Comics was saying about Marvel Rivals and how it won't bring in younger readers. You're wrong. You are just wrong. And we're going to watch one of his videos. We're going to go over this. I'm going to hit the buzzer every single time he's wrong. So I expect the buzzer to go off quite a bit. Quite a bit. Because Urinal Comics is just out of touch. He just doesn't get it. He doesn't understand how to market to the younger people, and that is through video games. That's right. And Marvel Rivals just isn't some video game flash in the pan that's going to be here for a month or two and disappear, and all the books are going to drop, because this guy clearly hasn't played Overwatch. And Overwatch has been here for 8 years plus. Still strong game. Okay, Marvel Rivals will be the game to kick its ass, though. And Marvel Rivals will be here for another decade. A decade of dominance of Marvel Rivals with books going up because of the characters that are being introduced to a whole group of people that probably had zero idea that they even existed. Hello, friends. My name is LP. I am the writer and curator of comic books. That's right. Something that Yerno cannot say. I am in the industry. I am published. I am available at comic book shops. Go buy Nyobi Outbreak 3 today. And as a comic book curator, as someone who is actually in the industry, neck deep, mind you, working with professionals, I can tell you that if this was my character in that game, it would bring more readers to me. It absolutely will. This game has had over 10 million, million players counting in just the last 2 days on Steam alone. That's not counting Xbox Series S and X, and that's not counting the PlayStation 5. So let's go ahead and get into the video. So here's how this is going to work. We're going to play a little bit. I'm going to pause. I'm going to commentate. I'm going to play a little bit because you're no comics. I'm going to monetize you. How about that? So let's go ahead and let's get started on our journey.
What is going on, everyone? Chris with Jerno'S Comics and Pop Culture. The debate continues, folks. I am Snick.
There's no debate. The only one debating this is you. Everyone else seems to be on the same consensus that this game is a game changer. A game changer. The only one that doesn't see that is you.
Snot running all through my nose, but I still decided to come here to make this video about the ongoing conversation of Marvel Rivals and what it's doing with the spec books, and if it's going to bring kids into comic books. If you guys aren't subscribed to the channel, please take the time to do so. Check out all the links in the description below as well. So how this started, if you guys didn't see the video I did, I believe a couple days ago now, where after watching good friend of the channel, my favorite YouTuber, Swaggle Haas's video, talking about Marvel Rivals and how he feels, this is getting, bringing in attention to the comic books. The video games has character cards with links to be able to purchase their first appearance in comics. He was talking about how he's possibly optimistic that this could get kids into these characters and in arena comics. And he was also showing how it seems that it's getting people into purchasing the books. So I made a video wanting to address that. And it's not that me and Swag were necessarily disagreeing. I do think, he was coming off maybe a little bit too optimistic in a whole, but what
No, No. You're coming off as too pessimistic is the problem. Your whole video and title is pessimistic. Your whole video and title is negativity, which doesn't help comic books at all, my friend. Comic books are on life support and you're scared to admit it. It's either very clickbaity or you really feel that way. And if you really feel that way, then maybe Journal Comics, you should just get out of the hobby. Just saying. Just saying.
What I was trying to say was, and it's really to all of you, to the viewership, to the community out there, that everything that we see with these books is simple and plain FOMO. It's FOMO addicts that are all the same middle-aged men.
Wrong. It's not FOMO. It's excitement. Okay? It is generating genuine excitement, not even amongst comic book fans such as myself, but people who have never read a comic book before are now playing this game and are actively, and I've seen it, actively seeking out these comics. So, you are just wrong. Let's hear the buzzer again.
That are standing toe-to-toe with the middle-aged flippers, that just like they do when we get a live-action trailer or an announcement or a casting, or we get a Netflix series option, we see the same trend. And that's why I say it's the same toilet, different pile of...
Nope. And here's the reason why. A bad Netflix series is just that. It's a bad Netflix series, okay? A bad movie like Madam Web is just a bad movie. Here's what Marvel Rivals is not. It's not bad. It's not even good. It is fucking great. It is great and huge. Marvel Rivals, in terms of entertainment, is bigger than the entire MCU. And I know that's going to be a hard pill to swallow, but swallow it you will.
Ish. This FOMO on these books with these characters, the Luna Snow, the Jeff the Tiger Shark, whatever, I don't even know what his name.
Jeff the Land Shark, you imbecile. And I didn't know who Jeff the Land Shark was either, and that's sort of the great thing about this game. I had no idea who Luna Snow was either until this game. And I'm a comic book guy that's been doing this since I was 14 years old. You gotta understand something. I'm now interested in Luna Snow. I went and bought her first appearance. I suggest everyone go do that. And I'm a middle-aged dude, granted. But I've seen and talked to younger people who already know these first appearances because the game has told them and it has invigorated interest. So you, again, you're just wrong. Wrong.
His name is. These FOMO buys, which now Swag did another video today as I'm recording this, kind of going in and saying, look, these are record sales. And I'm not, again, you guys want to watch his video, I'm going to put the link to this video of his in the description here. Record high, almost doubling in price, $525 for a 9.8 first appearance of Jeff the Shark. And he was like, look, I told you guys, this is really bringing interest in this. And basically, people are now saying that I was wrong. No, I wasn't wrong, because I was...
You just got 3 X's on the Family Feud, my friend. You are that wrong. I'm just saying, man. You don't understand the power of video games. You don't understand the power of a game, say like an Overwatch or a Fortnite. I do, because I play them. And I'm in the industry, and I collect, and I go to the conventions. Do you know how many people are going to cosplay as Luna Snow? Do you know that this game just isn't a complete game? It is an ongoing live service game, meaning new skins for these characters are around the corner. New characters coming into the game are around the corner. New game modes, new lore, new maps, new everything. Every couple of months, they will be updating this game because Marvel has over 60 years worth of material they can do it. They can give Jeff the Land Shark 20 different skins, and every time they give Jeff the Land Shark something new, his popularity is going to increase. So yes, you are wrong, and I will say it directly to you. You are wrong.
was never denying that people are FOMOing out at all. So I want to bring in, I want to bring up here my comment that I made on Swag's second video. And again, I'm not over here being passionate.
Okay, holy fuck, dude. That's not a comment. You wrote a novel. If you want to write a comment, keep it 3 or 4 sentences at most, all right? No one wants to read your fucking essay.
About anything that Swag's saying, because ultimately, and it's just really funny for all of you guys that aren't getting the bigger picture. Me and Swag basically agree on 99.9% of this. But let me read this to you all. The game is a marketing ploy for the same small circle of middle-aged men.
No, the game is not a marketing ploy for the same small circle of middle-aged men, because middle-aged men, most of them, aren't even going to probably be playing this game. This game is meant to be the Overwatch killer using an IP, a very successful worldwide IP such as Marvel, to get it done. And it's getting done. You have such a simple, singular, basic, childlike mindset that it is you who do not see the bigger picture.
That's spec on movie hype, live action, and TV show options. The only point I wanted to make was that this won't correlate to our youth.
This game is all about the youth. This game absolutely will correlate to the youth, and it will bring in extra interest in the comics. Is it going to be groundbreaking, earth-shattering, that every single child who plays this game is going to run out and buy a first appearance? Probably not. But if they're in the comic book shop, or let's say they're in the Dollar Tree store, and let's say it was Marvel and not DC, they're probably going to pick this up. They're probably going to pick up the Funkos. They're probably going to pick up Jeff the Landshark plushie dolls. They're going to cosplay as Luna Snow. Awareness, awareness, awareness. Something you do not have.
Or bringing gamers to the hobby. That's all I was saying. These high price spec sales are going to dip off, and it's not the kids buying it. But let me continue on here.
Also, I want to say that this video may be edited out a little bit, because as I'm trying to watch this and EFAP it, Jerno'S Comics has got like 5 different fucking commercials in here that I have to chop out. Now, I get it. I'm monetized too. So I can't bitch too much about it. It's just a pain in the ass while I'm watching a video and he's in mid-sentence and a fucking Tim Hortons commercial comes on. You know what I'm saying?
I do probably disagree that people buying these books are actually excited for them. Because one thing Swag did say in this video was like, you know, not only is there an uptick in these 9.8 sales and, you know, went from $200 to $300 to $500, he's saying like there's all these Luna Shark books that are raw, or these side character books selling for $8, $9. But I was like, you could look at what happened with Spider-Boy the same way. You could look at any spec book before it actually is hit that hot peak where there's a trailer or anything like that. You have speculators buying these books thinking, oh, let me get the Luna Snow one. Let me get...
Full disclosure, I bought Luna Snow's first appearance. I think I may have already said that in this video. $20 at my local comic book shop. $20 Canadian. I think that was a steal. For a character I never heard of, but I got excited about because of the video game. And if that's going to happen to me, that's going to happen to many, many others. I'm not an anomaly. I am the average person. Get used to it.
This one, let me get that one. Why I could still buy them low, because what are they thinking? They're thinking they can flip it and make that money. And then you probably get FOMO buyers that are trying to be ahead of the curve, that are like, oh shoot, Jeff the Shark is booming. Let me get these raw copies of the Luna Snow or the Galacta or whatever it is for $7, $8, $9. Why I can. So again, it doesn't speak to people buying into these books because they're playing a video game and they care about the books.
Because you're only thinking about people who are like you. You're not considering what the 16-year-old is going to do. And I'm going to tell you, not every 16-year-old is going to buy comics, but some of them are. And that's the part that you're ignorant about. That is the part you're dismissing. That is the part where you're showing your pessimism. That's the part I don't like.
It's the same people that are either FOMOing out, trying to get before the curve, or the speculators buying them up because once something else hits, boom, $10 book is now selling for $200-$300. It's the same toilet, different-ish. So let me continue on. I probably disagree that the ones buying that people are buying these books that are actually excited for the character, even with the low dollar sales. We can see the same trends whenever there is hype around a new character, i.e. Spider-Boy, only for it to die off when they don't sell. While the same FOMO addicts are seeing...
You cannot compare a shitty Dan Slott comic like Spider-Boy to the grand slam success that is Marvel Comics, or Marvel Rivals, I should say. That is just wrong, Jerno.
This is a way to flip and get rich. The kids are playing the kids that are playing the game are simply just playing the game. They aren't the ones spending hundreds of dollars on these books.
Correct. But they may go into the comic book shop or a Barnes and Noble and see Luna Snow on a cover of a book, because you know that's going to happen now. And they'll probably buy it for a few bucks. Are they going to go into Jesse James comic book shop and buy something off the wall? No, and it's not because they don't want to. It's because they don't have the $300 or $400 to do so. But if they got $20 in their pocket, they might, go to the comic book shop or wherever trade paperbacks are sold or the merchandise is sold and see a character that they recognize from the game and buy it. I can tell you, my nephew, he loves Fortnite. He loves Minecraft. He loves Roblox. And when he sees merch for it, because he's interested in it, whether it's a comic book, a fucking toy, a Funko, whatever the case may be, he kind of wants that. It's just how they are. Because now we have their interest. We didn't have the interest with just the comic books and the movies. We had to give them something they can really sink their teeth into, and that's Marvel Rivals.
The kids aren't the ones telling their parents to go buy them these books. They don't care. The same FOMO bros are going to...
And how do you know that? How do you know they don't care? What is your psychological insight into this? What studies have you conducted? How many younger people have you talked to? How much time have you even spent with the game? None? That would be my guess, probably. So you don't know, and you're talking out your ass.
Look back a year from now and see the same crash in value.
Great. I take you on that bet. Let's come back here a year from now, because in a year from now, here's what you don't understand that I do. And let me get really close for this, okay, Jerno? Here's what you don't understand. A year from now, this game is going to be even bigger than what it is. Just like Overwatch got bigger in its second year from its first year and got bigger in its third year, because it's a live service game. It's not a one and done. This game will continue with new content for the existing characters and the new characters that are coming around the corner. This game is going to do nothing but build excitement and build hype. Do you not understand this? And I do hope you respond to me. But do it in a video. Don't come into my comments with a fucking essay. Now, back to the video.
Value, just like we do with live action, just like we do with Netflix Prime options. It's the same toilet, different-ish. So yes, ultimately, we agree on what is happening here, because if you watch the video, we're saying the same thing. Marvel knows how to milk the middle-aged man that speculates.
Marvel has nothing to do with it. See, that's where you're wrong too. The company that makes the game is called NetEase. They are a Korean-based gaming company that has the license from Marvel to make the game. Yes, I'm sure Marvel has some input, as they always do with every license that they have. But they're not the ones that sat around the boardroom table and said, let's find a way to make a game so that we can milk speculators. That is just an insane thought that only you have. Let's get back to the video.
I also do hope that at least a few kids might pick up a comic from this, but it won't be enough to make any difference in how the modern floppy comic is consumed and how it is a dying commodity. And again, I use this example. It's like me or you, growing up with parents that listen to 8-track tapes. And it's like, oh, I still have...
Oh, I get it. He's a level 2 Tyler, right? And if you don't know who level 2 Tyler is, level 2 Tyler was a guy who's been trying to tell me for years, John, years, that the floppy is dying. that everyone wants digital. And while there's some truth to the validity of digital, the floppy's not going anywhere. In fact, we told Tyler, level 2 Tyler, just like I'm going to tell Comics, that me and Ben Dunn, the founder of Antarctic Press, a man who publishes me, who's been in this business for 40 years, the godfather of Ninja High School and Warrior Nun, thought it would be a great idea to go ahead and put spinner racks and 7-Elevens and put our comics on it. We got laughed out the door. What happens next? DC basically does the same thing. They go to every Dollar Tree and they have 38 titles up for sale, and it is doing phenomenal. It's doing gangbusters. They're selling out. This guy just doesn't fucking get it.
I have an 8-track tape collection, and it's like me using that as an argument to say that 8-tracks aren't dying out. I mean, I can even say the same thing for cassette tapes, and in 2024, I can even say the same thing for CDs. I can even say the same thing for DVDs and even the Blu-ray at this point. They are dying out. Why? Is it because people stop watching movies? Is it because people stop listening to music? No, it's because of evolution. It's because of technological evolution. Things change. We went from the 8-track to the cassette to the CD to MP3 players to streaming services. We went from VHS to DVD to Blu-ray to streaming service to digital to streaming services. It's not that the product itself, what it's delivering to us, there is no interest there anymore. No, it's the medium is changing. It's not that kids don't read and they're not interested in superhero or Marvel content. It's that the medium is changing. They don't consume floppy comics. So
But there's a reason for that. And I'm going to tell you the reason for that. The reason is lack of comic book shops, right? Back in the 90s, every kid was reading comic books. And why? Because there was a comic book shop, sometimes even more than one, in almost every city and town that was in existence. Now you have fewer than 1,700 comic book shops, okay? And kids don't know where to buy these things because kids go into Barnes and Nobles, they go into Chapters Comics, they go into Ollie's, they go to wherever trade paperbacks and manga are sold. And here's what they don't see because they're not stocked because of the direct market, right? Is floppy comics. If floppy comics were available, just like they are now in the Dollar Tree, if they're available in everywhere, Walmart, 7-Elevens, Barnes and Nobles, anywhere where you can buy a trade paperback these days or a manga, if floppies are there in a nice little setup that DC has, they too will sell. It's not that the format is outdated, it's the availability. You got to get this through your head, Journal.
Jeff the Shark will be popular among the kids, but the IP will not translate for them into floppy comics. It's going to be in skins or the new season of the game.
Oh my God. Yes, you're right in the sense that they're going to be excited about new skins in the game and they're going to buy those. I talked to a kid yesterday that's already spent $100 on skins alone for this game. But he also knew Jeff the Landshark's first appearance. How about that, right? A 14-year-old kid playing on Twitch happens to know something about comics only because the game had told him. Outside of that, no exposure, right? So in order for them to get interested in comics, you have to give them that first taste of blood, right? You have to give them that first little bit of exposure. This game is doing that. And if you can't see the bigger picture, maybe you're not the comic book fan. I think you are. Let's continue.
Or other games or animated action, maybe even toys or plush dolls, and maybe even in hardcover publications that resemble Dogman books or Captain Underpants or...
Oh my God, he really is level 2. Because I heard this argument several times from Tyler. Dogman. Dogman's not a comic book. Okay, Captain Underpants is not a comic book. They are children's books, like Dr. Seuss or the old Sesame Street books you used to buy. Two different things, two different genres.
Diary of a Wimpy Kid, which is the comic book, art form in a different medium. But it simply won't translate over to floppy comics. And here's where I think people are mistaking the point that I'm saying. I'm not sitting here hating on comics, guys. I'm being a realist.
No, you're being a pessimist and you are hating on comics. Guys like me who make comic books do not need people like you spouting off this bullshit, trying to turn people against buying the floppy, because that's what you're doing. Okay. We need the floppies because without the floppies, you have no trade paperbacks. Do you not understand this, Journal? Because a trade paperback and even an omnibus, right? They're just collections of works that were put out on a monthly basis. Without that monthly and weekly foot traffic to buy the floppies, the bigger collections do not get made. In other words, the industry stops. Get this through your head.
And I'm not sitting here saying that kids don't read, and I'm not sitting here saying that kids can't get into comic book IP, right? I'm not even saying that I'm mad at these books selling for this much. I think it's great, and I'm going to tell you why, but let me finish reading this first before I tell you why and end this video.
Let me guess. I bet you I know why. Because he's going to go, I got these books, and I'm going to flip them while I can and laugh. And, and when they go down, I'm the one that cashed out, and the rest of you are suckers. Maybe it's going to be something like that. I hope so.
I'm absolutely excited for anything that brings kids into Marvel IP. And I'm happy that the FOMOers are blowing money. Why? Here it is, folks. Because it's what keeps floppy comics on life support.
Floppy comics are not on life support. Look at the success of the Turtles Last Ronin. Look at the success of the Energon universe. Look at the success of books like Walking Dead, Saga. Look at the success of Absolute Batman. The books aren't on life support. The books just need to be good. This is what this man, Jerno'S, doesn't understand.
Can't speak on these things anymore without painting the whole picture of where floppy comics are going. Me and Swag talked about this earlier today after he released this video as well. We both agree that the floppy comic probably doesn't have more than a couple decades left. And the thing that's keeping floppy comics alive are FOMO buyers, speculators, variant buyers, 40 plus variants an issue.
Well, that's part of the customer base, right? Speculators, old-time buyers, completionists, collectors. That's all true. But there's also readers. And this guy has listed off every other type of customer except for the people that actually turn the pages and read the books. They're the people that buy a book like Absolute Batman and then praise it online by giving it stellar reviews. The same thing with Ghost Machine and the Energon universe. If the books are good, they will buy. If you build it, they will come. But God damn it, it's got to be a quality.
Incentive variants. Because again, look at the sales data. Look at the sales data. Okay? We're at the lowest print runs ever. And a large majority of what's being sold on the primary market from the distribution level are variants. And what's the hype around this game? Around the Rivals game is the Rivals variants that are...
That's just a start, right? There's a handful of variants that are coming out with game art. There's a Peach Momoko variant. But trust me, now that Marvel has seen 10 million players in the last 2 days, characters like Magic, Scarlet Witch, Penny Parker, Luna Snow, Jeff the Land Shark, every character that's in that fucking game is going to get a rise of popularity. And their comics are probably going to sell a little bit more than usual. Just saying, you're
cover swipes from when we were kids. They're selling nostalgia. So this is the brilliance of Marvel right now. Marvel is learning, is understanding that these young kids love Marvel IP, but they're not reading comics. So what do? Go to video games. Go to the video game.
That's a fallacy thought, okay? Because Marvel's been doing video games forever. But again, as I said earlier, it's not them making the games. These games are licensed by video game companies with the Marvel name on it. Okay, it could be any Marvel Rivals could be any game. It could be any IP. You could use DC in it. You can use the indies in it. You can use characters from an anime in it. The gameplay and the style wouldn't matter. It doesn't change, right? The the fact that it's Marvel just brings in a whole new universe, because Marvel characters are almost like folktales at this point. It's like Superman. And I know he's DC, but he's like the modern folktale, right? You know, he's Paul Bunyan in modern times.
Games. But they also know that middle-aged men that love comics so much are FOMO addicts and flipper addicts, and they're going to look at a video game hype just like they do live action hype, and they're going to eat it up.
Again, where you're wrong is most of the live action hype, they all bombed, and that's why the books bomb. When something has hype and the hype is continuing and growing, so will the books. Marvel Rivals is going to be a game that's going to be around for at least 5 or 6 years, if not more. And if you can't understand that, if you can't see the growth of that, then either you're ignorant, blind, or stupid. Pick one.
It's beautiful. It's great marketing. It's perfect, and it's making them money. But I just find it funny that this individual like this here says Jerno was wrong. What was I wrong about? What was
Everything I just corrected you on. Right? So you need to watch this video, and if my information still doesn't sink in, watch it 2 or 3 more times until it does.
I wrong about? Because Swag's video here, where he talks about this $500 sale, just proves my point. It proves my point of who's buying these books.
It proves your point that one person bought a book at $5.25 versus the 10 million people that are playing the game right now that might just go out and buy books. That your whole point is, out of the millions of players out there that could potentially buy comics, the only result is this one sale for $5.25. Are you on crack?
Look, folks, this isn't doom or gloom. It's not. And again, I'm not on one extreme side of the street or another.
Yeah, you are. When you have a title says comics are on life support and you're scared to admit it, you are certainly on one side of the street and you're not on mine.
This is the facts of the situation. And it's funny. Again, I'll say this again. You know, when I was doing like top 10 comics to invest in for $100 or really looking at what's moving on the market, you know, I get coined as, oh, I'm a YouTube spec bro, or
I like that. You are a YouTube spec bro. And I don't like YouTube spec bros. I really don't. I remember getting into fights with Captain Cummings about speculation back in the day. And I'd be like, it was assholes like you that would show up to the comic book shop as soon as it opened and bought all the issues of the hottest comic, leaving nothing left for the readers. And you know what that fucking prick said to me? And I quote, "Early bird gets the worm." Well, fuck you. That's why my comic book now shop only limits to 2 issues per customer off the shelf, unless if you are ordering extras.
I'm just a dirty flipper, and look at me, just, you know, all the negatives that come along with talking about speculation or investing. But as soon as I talk about, you know, on the flip side of that, where kids, the state of the floppy comic, you know, the videos about how modern comic collections in bulk are worthless, that the floppy comic won't exist in a couple decades, I'm a bad guy again.
Why wait for Boxing Day when the gift of savings is here early? At Artisan Roofing,
I think there is great potential here for everyone to realize, first off, the primary range of 35 to 65 that are comic book collectors, we still got a few decades before we all die. But when we do, floppies will be dead, folks. Primary market floppies are going to be dead. It's just a fact. It's a fact.
And you get these facts from where? From your glorious educational insights? Or do you get your facts because you're in the industry like I am? And that you actually see real live diamond reports for your business like I have? No? Then you really have no insight. Here's my insight. $1.25 comics at the Dollar Tree through DC proves to me that the floppy won't die. In fact, the floppy will be what it was meant to be. Disposable, cheap entertainment that would be available everywhere. Just like any other rag, any other magazine. And if you don't see that potential, if you don't correlate what DC is doing with what Marvel is doing and how these things can work in conjunction together, then you are ignorant, blind, or stupid, and I do ask you to pick one. Please.
It's like a bunch of hippies in the 70s. You know, if they had internet, if they had YouTube, they'd be all on YouTube. Anybody that sat and said, hey guys, in a couple of decades, 8-tracks aren't going to exist. Screw you, you're a hater.
So that's just one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. In the 70s, if the internet existed, 8-tracks wouldn't have existed because there'd be no need for them. We already have the internet. You know what I mean? Oh my God. You need to really script these out a little bit better there, bud. Hey, bud. Do a better job, bud.
You're doom and gloom. You're wrong. You know, it's like, folks, suck your gutting. Suck it up. Pull up your bootstraps and face reality, folks. I know it's scary. I know it's scary. The floppy comic is dying. It is on life support.
No.
But I still believe.
No, and I've been having that argument with people for about a decade now, my friend. And I will have it with you at any point in time that's convenient for you. And I will bury you in that argument.
That as long as we're around, the publishers can keep doing things that could be positive for us. And guys, why we're alive, even though it might not be enough to save the dying floppy, if we have kids and grandkids, we can give them the joy. We can pass down the joy like I did to my kids about what comics are. But this isn't the end all be all. Because what we should be happy about are the stories in the history that exists within the IP of these characters and what Marvel and DC is. And Marvel's going to carry that to these younger generations through video games, through animation like Into the Spider-Verse, through movies, through TV shows, through, and hopefully through different mediums of reading. Because kids do read still, maybe not as much, especially once they get to be teenagers, but they do read. They just consume it differently. They consume the hardcover, trade graphic novels like Dogman and Diary.
And why is that? Is it because it's their preference or is it because of availability? I am willing to bet that they would consume $1.25 comics if they were available to them. And guess what? Now they are starting to be. The problem is that kids read Dogman and stuff like that because in the majority of cases, these kids don't even have a comic book shop near them to buy a floppy. Floppies aren't sold in the regular normie market, right? You have to go to an LCS basically to get a floppy. But that game is changing. And it seems like you, my friend, Jerno'S, you are not up on the times. But I'm here to educate you, all right?
I River with the kid. Jedi Academy. Parents are buying their kids golden books with the superhero, like the DC had the Wonder Woman and Supergirl, and it was like for toddlers. We read digitally. We read on our iPads and in smartphones. So we have to think outside the box. And let me end on one more note, folks. The ending of the primary market floppy could actually have a positive effect on the floppy comic.
No, it won't. If you end the floppy, you end trades, you end omnibuses, because now you no longer have the monthly content that it takes to build a collection like that. And the theory is, well, don't make them. Just do the trade. Draw all the comics until you have enough for a trade and put that out. Well, what if that trade doesn't sell very well? That's what the floppy comics are for. It's a testing ground, right? Hey, these books are selling well. They're selling so well. Let's put them together as a collection. Publishing companies aren't going to publish big, huge books without knowing they're going to be a hit, right? Floppy comics is what keeps comic book shops alive, is what keeps the direct market alive, is what keeps conventions alive. If everything went digital, you would have no LCSs, you would have no conventions, because it's pretty hard to get your digital copy signed by someone, isn't it? Dude, you got narrow-minded thinking. Thank God I don't. Thank God there's someone like me to give a response to someone like you. Someone who's actually in the industry, unlike you.
Because what does it truly make it when it's completely extinct? A true nostalgic art form. A true nostalgic art form. So imagine, modern comics right now don't have nostalgia. These kids, there's going to be no nostalgia 20 to 30 years from now with modern comics. There won't be. They will be worthless. Unless floppy comics are stopped being produced altogether in 30, 40 years from now, there's such a dead breed, a dead art form that adults from that era during that time might look at it and say, oh, look at this.
If it takes 40 years for comic books, the floppies, to become what he's basically saying, archaic antiques that you're going to find, in an antique shop somewhere, let's put it this way, I'm 50. 40 years from now, I'm 90. I'm probably going to be dead, right? Along with the majority of you. The thing is, and the mistake that happened is that we as comic book creators, for the last 20, 30 years, since the 90s basically, didn't cater to teenagers for every generation. We catered to Gen X. And we made comics for Gen X for the last 20, 30 years. As they grew with us, we grew with them. What we didn't think about was the generations that would come after them and how to get them reading comics. We've forgotten about them. And manga took our spot. Now we're fighting back. And we're fighting back in a variety of ways. And hopefully, it will succeed. There's no guarantees in life on anything. But the steps that are being made right now, the books are getting better. Books are being more available in dollar stores. And games like Marvel Rivals is just bringing on the hype. This man says he's not a pessimist, he's a realist. No, you're a pessimist.
Piece of ancient history that doesn't exist anymore. It's a relic. Think about it like that.
I mean, listen to the vitriol that he's spouting. Listen to the hatred in his voice. He speaks with such conviction that he actually believes his own bullshit.
That's my video for you guys today, folks. Again, Brandon Metro. I don't know what you thought I was wrong about, but I'm very interested in hearing if anybody here still thinks that I'm wrong about anything. I will be the first to admit that I'm wrong, but...
Oh, I can't wait for this, because after I'm done editing and uploading this video, it's going up as a live premiere, and I'm going to link it in this man's video. I will monetize this. I will monetize stupid people for stupid opinions. Thank you.
Ain't hearing anything that I'm wrong about yet. It is what it is. And a year later, we're going to be looking at these books and in the prices, and I'll we'll be checking receipts. But
what it is what it is.
Take my ass to bed. Until next time, be well.
Thank God that's over. Oh, it was 17 minutes of my ears bleeding. It really was. This guy doesn't understand a goddamn thing about marketing to kids. No clue, right? And people have been trying to crack that egg for a long time. And the egg is in video games. They get interested in the characters through the games, and that interest will translate into other areas. This guy has this hate on for the floppy comic. I've had these arguments. I'm willing to have it with him. I'm well prepared, well versed, well armed. My magazine is full. You understand? And again, I come with credentials that you don't have. I make comic books. My name has been in the Diamond magazine 8 separate times. Actually, I think it's 10 now. 10 separate times that I have been in that magazine, where my books have been showcased, where you can go to the comic book shop and buy my, guess what? Floppy comics. Oh my. In fact, you probably have some in your collection. And if you do, let me know down in the comments section below. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, and let me know who's right, me or Jerno. And it doesn't really matter how much hate I get or how much love I get. Every comment adds to the algorithm, which makes more pennies on the dollar for each video I put out. With that, here's a word from our sponsor, me. And just who is the sponsor of today's video? Well, it's me, Austin. It's been me all along. And guys, I just want to quickly point out that I too am a comic book creator. I just don't speak it. I produce it, right? It's like put your money where your mouth is. We do that each and every time we have a release. I've been doing this now for a decade. We're published. We're in comic book shops. And we're on eBay. So if you ever want to check out Nyobi and you haven't yet, one of the best ways to do that is to come by our eBay store. Take a little scroll through here. If you type in Nyobicomics, you'll find it. Of course, link will be in the description of the video. I have all kinds of great back issues and hard to find variants here from artists that you know and love, like Jamie Tyndall, Elsie Frita, Steph Wilson, Paul Green, John Stinsman of Evangeline fame, Keith Garvey, and so many more, guys. If you're missing out on some Nyobi back issues, if you're looking for that hard to find variant, chances are you're going to find the best deal right here on eBay, and chances are you're going to find that deal directly through me. And as always, if you do order a book from me, I'll throw in a little extra goodies in there, a little tchotchke package of stickers and bookmarks and cards. Oh my. You'll have all that. Plus, you can have your book signed or unsigned. That is up to you. And keep an eye on this page because I do update it fairly frequently with new items all the time. And as something sells, I will put it back up. So guys, today's sponsor, Nyobicomics, the eBay store. Come check it out.